This 4-week SOOC, Small, Short, Supported, and Social, open online course focused on universal design for learning for educators across the K-20 spectrum. The following is a review of the participants' experience in this course, their completion rates, and their learning of UDL principles, the application of the principles to their practice, and their growth as teachers. We had a wide range of participants in the SOOC, from classroom teachers to professors to district-level staff. We also had 11 students take part in the SOOC as a course within a course. Their professor evaluated them separately, and we treated them as regular participants in terms of feedback and expectation. Interestingly, over 63% had signed up for a free online course before, and they had high completion rates. Whether educators are more likely to finish what they start is unclear. Participants liked the fact that MOOCs were free and they could learn something new in a low-stakes environment. Lack of feedback and face-to-face interaction were most often cited as aspects of MOOCs participants disliked. Almost 60% of participants had not participated in an online community of practice. However, they recognized how COPs could support their professional learning. Participants' understanding and application of UDL principles was distributed in a fairly typical bell curve. Interestingly, more people said they applied UDL in their practice than understood it. That could be based on the misconception that UDL is just good teaching. We had a wide variety of reasons participants took the SOOC. Interest in UDL and how to use apps were obviously highest, but many also wanted to know more about SOOCs and communities of practice. This was evident in the higher number of district-level participants as opposed to classroom-level participants up from our first SOOC. Participants self-identified their technology skills in the higher range except for assistive technology, which had a more distributed graph. Given the focus and delivery of the course, high levels of proficiency was expected. If a SOOC was offered in a district, more support for technology skills would need to be considered. Participants had some knowledge of badges, but a full 25% had no knowledge of them. Again, given this number, we might consider a fuller explanation of what badges are and how they work. However, as badges become more mainstream and are recognized as part of professional learning certification, this will be less of a consideration. The final question in the pre-SOOC survey dealt with engagement. The findings here weren't particularly revealing, other than participants' low rating for the importance of instructor availability, given they indicated lack of feedback was a problem in MOOCs. We had 29 participants complete the exit survey. Some were lurkers, which gave us insight into the value of online learning, even if the participant doesn't participate. In all, we had a 58% completion rate of the SOOC, which is slightly higher than the initial completion rates participants cited in the original survey, and much higher than the typical MOOC's 7 to 13% completion rate. This exit survey explores participants' ratings of the SOOC's design and delivery, content and learning, and communication and feedback. Overall, the vast majority of participants felt the SOOC was well designed, engaging, relevant, and practical. The 2 lurkers expressed concern that it was too fast-paced, and they were intimidated by the caliber of completed tasks, and so they didn't submit. To support these types of learners, it needs to be made more explicit that they don't have to read everything posted. I would hesitate to put in a private sharing mechanism, as building the community is based on sharing and trust. To this end, a better introductory activity beyond introducing yourself should be added to the course. There was significant growth in the participants' knowledge and application of UDL over the course. There was also noticeable growth in the area of technology, assistive technology, and mobile devices. The course did not provide how-to instruction. The exploration of apps were placed firmly in the center of learning and UDL. By creating an engaging and supportive environment, one in which the instructors tried new tools themselves, participants followed suit, exploring tools they were unfamiliar with and using them to present their weekly tasks. Most components of the site were accessed by approximately 87 to 92% of participants surveyed. Only the Google Plus Community Video Tour and the Google Hangout and Twitter chats were less used. Although participants were asked to try one or the other, we didn't make this a requirement for completion, as it required additional time to participate. Most likely, as more people embrace social media and experienced learning in those environments, they will be more open to using them. However, unless it is a requirement, many busy professionals may choose to skip this portion. When rating the communication tools used in the course and whether they help the participants stay engaged, participants found 3 tools the most helpful: Google Plus Community, participants' comments, and the instructor's comments. The other tools had a more distributed profile, with those that used them most likely finding them somewhat or very helpful for engagement. Again, as these tools become more mainstream, the data will most likely shift. An important part of the SOOC that differentiates it from other forms of online learning is the instructor participation and feedback. This requires commitment, but results in higher participant engagement, commitment, and attention to quality. Interestingly, in the original survey, only 25% of the participants rated instructor availability as important to their engagement. The question, "Please share why the instructor's participation was or was not an important part of the course," generated many responses. Participants were unanimous in their positive response to instructor presence, feedback, and most importantly, commitment to the SOOC experience. I think Louise, Kendra, and Betsy's participation in the course was essential. It was really interesting to see their metacognitive processes at work. It was like they were teaching, but also showing us their learning. For me, the most important thing about being a teacher is the constant learning process. I appreciated seeing this and being able to comment on their work. It made it seem like we were all in this together. The question, looking back on your application of UDL to your practice, what has or will change after taking the SOOC? Participants referenced 5 categories in their written responses. They now use UDL as a lens to re-examine their current practice. They have increased awareness of and clarity of UDL principles. They apply UDL intentionally. They've gone from theory to practice in its application. They will include more apps, explore more apps, and share more apps with fellow teachers. They will advocate for the use of and share their knowledge of UDL with others. We got some very illuminating responses to the question. Below is just one of many detailed comments. The fact that they are so detailed is a testament to both the course and the participants' commitment to the process. I was always aware of the different types of learners in my class, but there have been many times over the course of these 4 weeks that I understood that they were asking to be taught differently. It was like I knew about UDL and was kind of applying it, but I didn't really take a truly universal look at things. I thought of myself as a teacher that tried to address the needs of all students, but stepping back and taking a wider view of the landscape and seeing how UDL can be an umbrella for every student has really opened my eyes. Thank you for this true learning experience, and I'm sure my students thank you. Another important part of the SOOC that differentiates it from other formats is the focus on both the application to practice, beyond theory, and development of self-reflective practices in which teachers take their learning about themselves, their experience, and the content and apply it to their instruction, the classroom environment, and their learners. It was good to see participants embracing this aspect of professional learning, as I believe it is often neglected in most district-level PD. Badges were an interesting part of the course. Most participants collected them, but not all understood them. Awarding badges is currently associated with student learning, but I believe they will be recognized as valuable for professionals when tracking, evaluation, and criteria are standardized and posting to your online portfolio and/or LinkedIn account is seamless. When asked, do you think badges are of value in professional learning, there were 4 categories of response. Great incentive, help set weekly goals to achieve. They will be incentivizing when officially recognized. Unsure of their purpose or how to utilize them in a professional way. And fun, but not necessary. Not everyone likes badges. Again, as badges become more recognized, easily displayed, and standardized, their use in professional learning will increase. Given the badges are attached to criteria, but not yet valuable, learners still embrace them. Badges for me and many professionals are the new currency. While you can offer classes that are learning for learning's sake, but at the end of the day, if you have something to walk away with, it's just awesome. And it's something you can tweet about. I love that I can get recognized in my PLN for my achievements. Thanks. When asked to describe one thing you learned that you plan to use right away, comments in this area were divided into two groups: those who wanted to explore the new tools and those who wanted to include more UDL into their instruction, with a heavy focus on redesigning what they do. I believe this reflects where people are in their understanding of UDL, their current role, and their level of expertise with technology. When asked, did you learn something unique or surprising about yourself or UDL, we had a similar response. Many participants said they learned more about UDL and about themselves as a learner. Often they felt more confident that they could do it, that is, apply UDL principles to their practice. Of great interest was the discovery by many participants that they didn't know as much about UDL as they thought. I think originally I learned that I really didn't know quite as much about UDL as I first thought. My knowledge and understanding grew throughout the course. I was surprised at how little I was applying UDL. Now I reflect back on my students' learning and wonder how I did it without clear and targeted UDL principles. I learned a lot about practical application. My knowledge was highly theoretic before. I learned that I was already quite familiar with UDL, but had gaps in my understanding and bigger gaps in my application of specific UDL principles. When asked what did you like most about the SOOC experience, participants' comments fell under three categories. They enjoyed exploring apps and online tools and creating with them, they enjoyed building a community of practice, and they enjoyed the overall design of the SOOC that included flexible structure, choice, and collaboration. They recognized the effectiveness of using UDL to build an online course. I love the collaborative environment. In every sense of the word, this class was full of energy and dynamism. I'm actually doing my MA in Ed Tech right now, and I can say that this class was definitely more interactive with the Hangouts, Twitter chat, feedback from participants, and the Google+. This was so well thought out. Bravo! We asked participants how they would improve the course, or what could be improved. Generally speaking, most said nothing, enjoyed all aspects of the course. Some offered specific suggestions. Most were around additional support and resources. The suggestions to include a rubric and organize the resources have been addressed in the revisions to the updated website. Under what they would remove or change, the participants mentioned the pace, although this would be difficult to change. There were also suggestions for social media, changing the date, and making the purpose clearer. However, as noted earlier, the SOOC is about choice, so not everyone will choose to participate. That being said, the suggestion to have a pre-SOOC hangout to help people prior to an official hangout is a good one. And the inclusion of how-to videos for Twitter and Hangout would support those new to these experiences. This last comment nicely sums up many participants' experiences in the SOOC. I thought I knew a lot already about UDL, but I haven't been practicing it to the fullest, not even 50%. I've already started making changes in my practice and have been more reflective when developing materials. I took a 45-hour online course about UDL and technology last spring and didn't get as much out of that one as I did with this course. Our final two questions sum up participants' SOOC experience nicely. The small number of participants, short timelines, instructor support, feedback, and co-construction, and the social design of the community of practice, all based on UDL principles, creates a unique experience that resonates with learners and is one they are eager to engage in again.